What's going on, guys? How are we all doing? The NBA is back, and that means that Sorare NBA is back too. Season 2 time. Let me run you through all the changes that's happened and also show you, and I can't believe I'm saying this already, my lineups now for the first week back on Sorare NBA. Let's go. Before we jump into the rest of this video though, nearly 80% of you are not subscribed to us here at the Swingman Podcast. Now, if you love the NBA and you want to stay in depth with everything this season, and also the Sorare NBA stuff we're going to be doing, and trust me, you're going to want to stay involved with it, make sure you hit the subscribe button. It will really help us out more than you could possibly imagine. Let's get on with the video. Okay, so these are the common cards for Season 2 that we've got. I've gone through, I opened up all of the 20 cards that I got for free. Now, if you also want 20 cards and you've not played Sorare last year and it's your first time jumping into it, I'm going to leave my link and my Sorare partner link in the description down below for you to sign up on. You'll get the 20 free cards, but also if you buy 5 limited cards at auction, you'll also get 1 free, and I think there may be another little bonus that comes in there as well. But the link will be in the description. If you didn't play Season 1, get involved in Season 2. Everyone's starting again for it. You keep the cards that you own, and let's go. So, my common team, obviously, you get given the 20 cards for the new season for Season 2. Season 1, common cards go. Season 2, we get new ones. I was lucky enough to get Luka Doncic in the front of mine, but everyone gets a really solid MVP choice. I had Anthony Davis. I had a few others. I would have shown you it, but unfortunately the file corrupted. But yes, Luka's going to be my MVP. If I scroll on through here, I've got some nice pieces that can go around in it. I'll throw Derek White in there. If I scroll on down, I'm not sure there was anyone else. I did like the fact that I got John Conchar, but I want to see how the Memphis Grizzlies are going to settle in without Jar for the first 25 games of the season in any case. We can throw Kawhi Leonard in there. That leaves 25 left. If I put Gabe Vincent in, that leaves a slot just lovely for Marcus Smart. So that'll be my common lineup. Let's jump into my limited lineups and then also my rare ones. And yes, on the common side, like I did last year, if I win a limited card on the common pickup side of things, and there's 150 of them up for grabs, if I win one of them, I'll of course give them away to a subscriber of the channel. Just leave your Sorare handle in the comments down below to be in with a chance of that. There's also going to be a link down below to join the Swingman Sorare Society that we've got on screen right here. Just a bit of fun, and sometimes I'll also do giveaways in there at random points throughout the season. The link to join that will be in the description down below as well. So then, limited champion, obviously 120 cap space, but your MVP doesn't take that up. Now, the highest L10 guy I have here is James Harden, but for obvious reasons, I'm not going to be selecting him. So I'm actually going to go for Paul George here and Joel Embiid. So I can get Paul George as my MVP and Joel Embiid at 5%. So even if I bought a Season 2 one, this would be the guy. It would be the same bonus that I'd be getting. I bought Joel Embiid at the start of last year, played him throughout last year, and because of that, I now have enough bonus XP that I'm not at a detriment for using a Joel Embiid. I've now got 26 points left for the final 3 positions. So if I scroll on through, I really like Bam Adebayo as a pick this week, especially against the Pistons. I think the Heat are going to come out with a bit of something to prove, potentially, that they're going to have throughout the first sort of 10-15 games of the season. It's been well documented that their off-season's not gone the way that they wanted. So I think a few of the players are going to come out with a chip on their shoulder and something to prove. I really like Bam Adebayo as a pick this week. If I scroll on through the rest of them, Gabe Vincent's there. I like Dylan Brooks now at the Rockets, especially at 21 and against the Magic. I'm going to take him there. That leaves me with 24. So I could get I'm not taking Julius Champagne. I could get Luke Kennard, but I'm actually going to take Jordan Poole. And it's well documented that Jordan Poole is a bit of a cheat code this week. It's leaving me with 5. So I could go from sort of Bam Adebayo up to a DeRozan or someone like that. But for the time being, I'm going to leave it like this. And then once I settle in and you hear news closer to the deadline, I'm like a week away recording this for it. But for the time being, I'm actually pretty content with this being my limited champion lineup. So, limited contender, different to the MVP side and the champion side of the limited stuff. You've only got 110 cap points, 22 on average for the 5 positions. Now, if I scroll on through them, the one that would obviously have been nice to have played here would be Jordan Poole, but I want to utilize his low L10 and his expected higher output of the Wizards now in the champion mode. That's where the best rewards are, so that's where I want to be. I don't know if I mentioned it on the prior screen when we were looking at MVPs in the champion team, but Joel Embiid's been a bit flaky, shall we say, in preseason. We're not sure the total health and fitness that Joel Embiid's going to have coming into it. So I'm actually going to put Paul Reed in this lineup because I think even if Embiid is starting and there's all fun and games with him, it is Embiid. So I can see Paul Reed getting some minutes, especially this year as well. I know what everything has been said that they're going to run Embiid into the ground and they're going to play him every game possible, but I think Paul Reed might get some minutes, so I'm going to throw him in, especially at an L10 of 13. I'm going to take that. I also really like Josh Richardson as a pickup. In that Miami rotation, I think he's going to get a bit more of a usage since come about from it. TST actually tipped him off to me, looked into it a bit more, and I really like the pickup for it. So they're playing the Pistons as well, and I think Detroit will be a little bit better than last year, but I'm not expecting sort of any miracles from Detroit, is all I'll say for that one. So then that leaves us obviously where we are now at 28 for the 3 to go. I can go and get someone a little bit more spenny. So if I scroll up to the top here, I like Vucevic. I loved him last year as a pick. I think he was almost like a bargain MVP that you could go and get if you were playing on a limited budget, or on a limited budget in the limited scarcity. I think he was a good MVP that you could pick up. Gets involved in everything. Potential triple-double all the time, which on the scoring matrix on the NBA side of things is amazing. That's leaving me then with 25 for 2. Now, I can either go for 2 guys on the 25 spectrum or go for someone that's a little bit more spenny and then go for someone a bit cheaper. If I look at this, I quite like Jabari Smith Jr. at the Magic. Not a massive fan. I want to see what Portland looked like with Jeremy Grant this year now, obviously Dameless. But Franz Wagner against the Rockets, near 5%, I really like that. And then if I scroll on down towards the bottom for where I can afford things, I've got Ben Simmons there. And I've also got Kevin Love. Kevin Love, I think, would be the one that projects better, especially Miami playing Detroit at home. But Ben Simmons, I'm falling for those preseason videos online. I'm going to throw Ben Simmons in there and we'll see how it goes. And then, of course, a permanent feature now in Season 2 on Sorare NBA. We've got limited Underdog. We've got Underdog in general on rare and the limited side. Don't think it's super rare. I'm not 100% sure, though. But we now have Underdog every single week to play. It isn't one of those rotating ones like the Eastern and the Western Conference and Under 23 and all offensive and defensive. They're going to come about, I think, sporadically throughout the season. Hopefully they're going to be a bit more communicative. I think that's the plan. They're going to sort of tell us a little bit more in advance of when they're going to come. But we now know we have Underdog every single week, which is another place to play your cards, which was one of the big things that everyone asked for at the start and throughout of last season. Now, if I go into this, if I go and scroll right to the end, I know I have a Sam Hauser who's got an L10 of 4. He might get some garbage time minutes for the Celtics, and that's predominantly why I'm going to play him. If I can get a guy at 4, that now bumps me up to 14 on average. And I know I've still got lower guys here. Georges Niang obviously moved from the Sixers to the Cavs. I think he'll have an uptick in usage rate and role, sort of what he's being asked to do at the Cavs. I'll throw him in. That leaves me with 17. Now, if I scroll on through here, Jared Vanderbilt at 11 of an L10 here. They've got 2 games. I fancy him to get some minutes. It's just with Jared Vanderbilt, he was really flaky at points last season in general, especially when he was at the Lakers for it predominantly. So I'm still not holding out massive hope. Bol I want to throw in there, but I've got absolutely no idea how the Suns are going to sort of go about in these 2 games. And considering they're against the Warriors and the Lakers, it might be a bit too early just for this. Whereas I know Cam Reddish, the same thing. I don't know where he's going to be fitting in that Lakers rotation now that they're really stacked. GP2, I know, should get minutes in a solid Warriors lineup for it. So I think he'll play. And then that leaves me with 27, where I can fit Aaron Gordon in, obviously, as a starter on the Denver Nuggets, who I'm probably going to take to beat the Lakers in Gameweek 1. So that's my limited Underdog team. And the fact I can get Aaron Gordon in an Underdog team, I'm very happy at. And it's just, you're now going to hope that these sort of 2 guys and your bargain bucket guys really perform for you in these weeks. Limited Underdog doesn't have the biggest reward pool, and nor should it. But it's nice to throw these guys here that would never ever do anything for me normally, because they're not guys that you throw them in a contender or a champion lineup because you're never confident enough that they'll score well. But in Underdog, they might surprise you. Right then, rare champion time. Now, obviously, throughout last year, if you was following me throughout sort of every video that I'd done through last season, you'd know I was slowly building my rare gallery up ready for Season 2 and also competing pretty well in Season 1. I did well in the playoffs from it and other things that came. But we're now in Season 2, obviously. And because of that, I have a nice collection of rare cards with some good percentages throughout some of them as well. So MVP is obvious this week. Devin Booker is the only one out of my sort of big dons with Damian Lillard, Ant-Man, and a few others that have 2 games. So I'm going to throw him in as my MVP. Also, he's unquestionably got the biggest cap for these, so I'm going to throw him in. Do I think he's going to do stellar against the Lakers and the Warriors? No, especially now that Bradley Beal's there. Kevin Durant's obviously there. So it's going to be an interesting one, but I'm going to pick him as my MVP. The next guy I'm going to take, I'm actually going to skip Dame Lillard and Anthony Edwards. They're just too much to play alongside him, and it would hurt the rest of the lineup, I feel. But Jimmy Butler, I said before, I think Miami are going to do really well against Detroit. 42 of an L10 there. That leaves me 26 with 3 to play. Now, if I scroll on down, the cheat pick of the week, the sort of cheat code that you've got, unless you've got Wembanyama or Chet or any of those rookie guys on an L10 of 0, the cheat guy of this sort of opening period, like Keegan Murray was last year, even though that was a different one, Jordan Poole is the guy. I won him during the playoffs last year. Obviously got his move to Washington, and now he looks very, very enticing. So at 29, I'm going to take him all day long. Now, the other guy I want to pick is my Jaylen Brown. And the thing that's good about Jaylen Brown is, as you can see here, 15.5%. That means that anyone that buys a Jaylen Brown Season 2 card, I'm still getting more points than that card this week. I don't know if the collection bonus is going to be there or thereabouts when I do this, like after I've done this video. But right now, because I've bought him at the start of last year, played him pretty much every week, I have enough XP on him that he's actually better than a Season 2 card for me. So Jaylen Brown's going to slot in there. That leaves me with 28 points left in the cap. And I've got a nice selection here. I can go Marcus Smart, Aaron Gordon, DeAndre Ayton, Jeremy Sohan, Markelle Fultz, or Caleb Martin. I don't want to double up on the Heat for this. I'm really tempted to take Sohan, but I think Aaron Gordon's going to be the slightly better, more consistent pick. I think Jeremy Sohan at points can be a little bit too flaky. We can't see last games for it, but I want to see how they play with Wemby and how that affects Jeremy Sohan in particular. So I'm not going to take him. I'm going to put Aaron Gordon in there for the time being, and that is my rare champ lineup. Let's jump into my contender and also my underdog lineup before we get out of here. So then obviously same applies in the contender. On the rare side of things, no MVP, which means 22 as an average across the 5 spots. Now, like I said, I think Miami are going to do really well. I think that because of this, it's a no-brainer to pick Bam Adebayo this week, especially against the Pistons. If I scroll on through some of the other stuff, I really like DeAndre Ayton now that he's on the Blazers. I don't love the matchup against the Clippers, and I could put Jeremy... Do you know what, actually? I'm going to throw Jeremy Sohan in here as well, I think, just because do I want to put Sohan in here? I think, actually, I might scroll on to... Bruce Brown is someone that I'm going to bang the drum on for him doing really well at Indiana. I think it was a really smart pickup by them. Obviously, brings a boast of experience from his time at Denver. I want to make sure as well that I get Jared Vanderbilt in either this lineup or Underdog, and I don't know what one I want to play him in particular. I think for the time being, he's going to be a little bit better suited in Contender because I think he's going to be a better option for a more priority lineup. And then 16 left is an easy option of Malcolm Brogdon now that he's on the Blazers. So I quite like this as a solid lineup here. We've got 3 sort of solidified options. A guy that hopefully gets some minutes coming off the bench in these 2 games, and then Malcolm Brogdon, who should be quite good for the Blazers. And then rare underdogs, we're going to go right to the bottom. We're going to scroll all the way down. We're going to go right to the right-hand side here. Sam Hauser at 4 of an L10. Hopefully he gets some garbage time minutes at Boston. I'm unsure on the fitness of Yuda, but I'm hoping he plays. And if he does, at an L10 of 8, that now leaves me with 16 across the board here. I'm going to throw Javon Carter in there. I think Javon Carter will get solid minutes. Well, hopefully he gets solid minutes. I'm not sure what his projections are as well, because obviously projections are not out yet. So this is going into it sort of somewhat blind, but I'm just using my knowledge of the NBA, I guess, to try and help pick these lineups here for me. And then I could throw Gabe Vincent in, leaving 14 for a Cam Reddish or a Bol Bol. Do I want to do that? I'm not particularly too sure. I think Bol Bol will get minutes. I'm just unsure what it is because the Suns are such an interesting entity this year. If I put Bol Bol in, I can get Gabe Vincent, but Gary Trent Jr., he missed a lot of time towards the back end of last season, and 21 is low for him. He can score pretty well. He's up against the Timberwolves. I'll throw Gary Trent in there now, but that could become Gabe Vincent. Let me know, would you do Gary Trent Jr.? Would you do Gary Trent or would you do Gabe Vincent? Let me know in the comments down below. So that's that. I can't believe we're back. I'm not going to show you through all my training lineups that I'm setting. No one wants to see that. But in any case, I can't believe that we're back round for Sorare Season 2 on the NBA. I'm really excited. It is very, very exciting in general to have NBA back. But obviously, it's nice to have it with Sorare as well. Please make sure that you're subscribed to the channel to make sure you don't miss any Sorare videos that are coming out. And yeah, like the video, drop a comment, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.